Okay, doing things properly today. If I can get that to work. There it is. Welcome to it. It is our program. Wherever the hell you're hearing us, thank you. We really appreciate you making some time, and we are glad that you are here. And we are going to go to Dr. Julie here in just a few. And Dr. Julie is, Dr. Julie Gatza is who we are going to be going and talking to here in just a few. She is, these are always interesting conversations, I guess. We'll, just, I don't know. They're always very interesting. And so let's go to Dr. Julie. She is going to join us here in just a few seconds. We're going to call her on the traditional telephone. And you get the great Dr. Julie Gatza in here. And I think we might have Dr. Julie. How are you, Dr. Julie?
I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good, actually. We have been trying to make this interview work, and we finally have it today, and it is the wellness educator, Dr. Julie Gatza. She joins us this week here on our program, and she has some tips for reducing your toxic burden to improve health and boost energy. We also have a lot of interesting questions for Dr. Julie, and she is the co-founder of the Florida Wellness Institute. She's a health educator. She is one of the nation's top chiropractic physicians with more than 30 years of clinical practice, during which she assisted thousands of patients to resolve a wide variety of physical ailments using her understanding of the nervous system, nutrition, and alternative therapies. And Dr. Gatza joins us today here on the telephone. So Dr. Julie, before we get started with the topic, I want to talk to you about you. How did you get in to the world of chiropractic physicianry?
Well, I'm a third-generation chiropractor, and grandfather, great uncle, cousin. So this is definitely in our family and in our blood. And when we first started practicing, we really thought we could change everything. And chiropractic's wonderful, moving the bones, freeing up the nerves, going through to the rest of the body works, but we found that a lot of people weren't getting the results that we intended, and we found that if we fixed their digestive system, really got it working the proper way, we could handle a heck of a lot more diseases and unwanted symptoms that we didn't even believe that we could improve. So by handling digestion, it really helps even the spine hold better and get rid of chronic back pain and skin and organs and diabetes and bringing down the blood sugar and autoimmune disorders were all handled very successfully when you fix the digestion.
That's awesome. We have got Dr. Julie Gatza with us today. She joins us here on Build, Grow, and Enjoy, the BGE radio network out of Atlanta, GA, buildgrowandenjoy.com. And Dr. Julie Gatza is one of the nation's top chiropractic physicians with more than 30 years of clinical practice, and she joins us today here on our big broadcast. So one of the things I've always wondered, and you laid that out, expertly there, is if you fix people's digestive system, you're going to fix their physical and kind of overall body of work. How did you guys arrive at being able to meld those two?
Well, we were finding that, people just weren't digesting their food properly, and they were gas, bloating, indigestion, heartburn, acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea. All those things are not normal. They're very common with people. They might run in your family, but none of those symptoms are normal. So when we put attention on giving people high-quality digestive enzymes, eliminating certain foods from their diets, and monitoring all that, what we realized was if you think about your digestive system even once in the day, it's probably not working properly. Because if it is working properly, you never have to think about it. It just works. It's just, it's sort of, how often do you think of your little finger? You don't, unless it's hurting, and then you're very aware of it. Well, same thing with digestion. And I'm always astounded by all the different types of medications and over-the-counter things that you can take to get rid of these symptoms, but not one of them is going to handle why. And when you get to the why, you actually can push nutrition into the body at a cellular level, and you can't lay in a bathtub of vitamins and hope that you're going to be healthy. If so, everyone would be doing it. So you must be able to break down your food and get nutrition from it.
I think that's awesome. We have got Dr. Julie Gatza with us today. She is the co-founder of the Florida Wellness Institute. She is a terrific health educator. And she joins us today here on Build, Grow, and Enjoy. And Dr. Gatza's mission with each patient is to enhance their body's own potential to heal itself. That is the one thing that I wish that more health people and more, I guess health educators would be doing more, and that is trying to help people, because the body does heal itself. You've just got to kind of give it a little bit of direction and give it a little bit of, help. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know that there's a lot of health people that they're, sold out to the pharmaceutical industry, so their first thing to do is, well, let's prescribe something that I'm going to get a kickback on. Talk to me a little bit about using the body's own potential to heal itself and kind of helping it in that direction.
Well, if you just logically think about it, these bodies are very resilient. And, whatever avenue that you became a doctor, whether it's a chiropractor and you couldn't, use drugs and surgery, or you became a medical doctor and you had those as options, the real fact is, if you handle the gut health with somebody and you educate them on how important it is, everyone wins. So, if we had been educating our kids from, first grade and fifth grade and eighth grade, and then again in high school, and if we had some commercials on just maintaining normal gut health, what that actually means, right foods to eat, what to eliminate, what to do naturally if you're having a hard time, the benefit of high-quality digestive enzymes. These are such simple premises that I have taken extremely old people who have been very sick with circles under the eyes and bloating and gas and swollen feet and ankles, and we get the digestive system working properly, and they dump this inflammation. They get nutrition into the cells and start to have energy better. They look younger, like way younger. Their circles decrease. They're happy again. And it's simply by finally getting nutrition into the body, but it's so ignored because you can make so much more money on keeping somebody at the mercy of having to take something for this. Or, once your gut doesn't work properly, you will be pulling in some sort of, disease, probably the same kind that are running in your family. And, very few of this is actually genetic. It's mostly just you're not correcting the same thing that your parents and your grandparents didn't correct, so you're kind of on the same line to get this stuff unless you actually change it. And, most people can't break down their food, so I've been giving a digestive enzyme for years called AbsorbAid, and it's just sort of the easiest way that you can make sure that you're getting most nutrition from foods that you eat that are good and healthy, or even foods when you've gone off the rails and you're not eating as well as you should. It helps to break down those foods and eliminate the toxins from, eating poorly as well.
We have got Dr. Julie Gatza with us today. She's a wellness educator, and let's talk a little bit about breaking down some of the toxins and the chemical pollutants that seem to be everywhere. They're in the water, in the soils, in the food supply. Talk to us a little bit about just using, AbsorbAid and some of the other things that you recommend to break down some of these toxins and everything.
So I've been using AbsorbAid because it does not only break down the good food and get the nutrition squeezed from it, so it's getting the most bang you can for your buck with every meal that you eat, but you also have a load of toxins that come along with eating, and you get a bigger load when you're having foods that aren't the best for the body. So those need to be eliminated as well. If you don't eliminate those toxins, they do get reabsorbed from the small intestine into the bloodstream, and now your immune system is constantly battling things that shouldn't be there. So your immune system is compromised. You can't repair your tissues and your skin, and you're having fatigue, and you're not sleeping as well, and your hormones are imbalanced, and you're just in a crummy mood. And a lot of this is simply because of the toxic load. Granted, we do have pretty toxic food in this country. I think our seeds have been altered. Our soil isn't replenished. We use a lot of Roundup on a lot of our grains and grown food. So we aren't raising kids the same as when you and I were raised, and we had a lot more pure food. So, even this upcoming generation doesn't have quite the storage that we had as kids because they aren't getting quite as good of food. So what we need to do is, one, educate people on, first, gut health is so darn important, and two, start giving better foods as far as, better choices. Shop on the perimeter of the grocery store where there's the fruits and the vegetables and the meats rather than the interior side and the cans and the packages and the boxes and the frozen things that have a lot of additives. And by giving digestive enzymes like AbsorbAid, you are then allowing the food to be broken down the best to get nutrition at a cellular level, and you're also helping to remove the toxins from the gut that you can eliminate and not have to reabsorb these things. And if you look at all these kids as a great example, kids repair really quickly, but we have a lot of overweight kids. We have a lot of surly kids who don't have energy and are in bad moods and, are circles under their eyes and aren't sleeping well. And this isn't just American kids on videos. Some of that might be, but a lot of it is what we have been sold, that it's okay to feed our children. And, I'm pretty astounded at the commercials that come through that say it's totally fine to feed your kid this weird food. It isn't food. It's something that their body has to use nutrition to break down. They're not getting much from it. And neither are we or our elderly. So we're in trouble because we're not being educated and we're being sold the next tasty thing that, we used to be able to have them for treats and holidays. And, you have junior high kids going to the normal coffee store and getting creamy coffee drinks in junior high that no one thought to ever drink coffee when we were kids. We sipped it and hated it because our parents drank it.
We have got Dr. Julie Gatza with us today. She is a fantastic health educator, and she's with us today talking about the digestive system and some of the different things that go on with that. What percentage of the population has health problems stemming from these toxins that are residing in their bodies?
I would, without any reservation, say over 90%. I rarely see somebody who comes into my office and says, "Well, I'm doing just great. Can you please keep me doing well?" Even fine-tuned athletes have come in, and we can actually improve their athletic performance because we actually correct what's happening digestively with them. And it's just not that hard. It's just so this is some big mystical secret. It's just very plain and simple. And I'm pride myself on trying to be logical because I don't like to get into details, and heck, I probably forgot half of my education. It's more complicated anyhow. But I keep the very basics, at least understandable, because it is the quality of food you put in. How do you break these things down? Do you break them down? And are you absorbing them and eliminating the toxins? And if you're not, you can probably trace just about all your diseases and all your unwanted symptoms back to, let's fix your gut, let's align your spine, and let's make sure you're actually breaking down the nutrients the food that you need to wring the most nutrition from each meal.
It's Dr. Julie Gatza. She joins us this week here on Build, Grow, and Enjoy, the BGE radio network out of Atlanta, GA, buildgrowandenjoy.com. So what are some of the telltale signs that someone is basically been afflicted with a significant toxic burden?
Overweight is number one. Anybody that's battling their weight is usually starving. And that sounds so weird because they're eating a lot of food, but they're eating massive amounts of food generally, and they're not able to get the nutrition from it to get the metabolism running efficiently so that when they eat, they actually burn properly and get rid of toxins properly. So overweight is your biggest one. And, I've met a lot of overweight women in particular who really are only eating salads, and they cannot lose weight. It's because they're not able to even break down something healthy like a salad because it's now too complicated for a digestive system that's compromised. So you've got fatigue and circles under the eyes and puffiness. If you take a look at somebody who may be slightly overweight, but they're not really, but they don't look totally fit, usually they're just puffy. And that inflammation and puffiness is sitting in all systems of the body. It's the joints, the tendons, the cells, and the muscles. And it's basically creating this sort of puff that does not belong, and it's also affecting them as far as muscles and, the hunger that they have and how they can relax properly and regain their energy and just, feel like a normal human, where you wake up and you don't have a tension on, boy, everything aches and I have no energy, and boy, what can I do to get some energy? And you run to the coffee pot and stimulate your system with that, as compared to actually having normal energy when you wake up. It's very unheard of for most people to feel good when they get out of bed without any stimulant.
It is Dr. Julie Gatza. She's with us today here on BGE, the BGE Radio Network. And so you were talking a little bit about the digestive enzyme supplements. Talk to us about this, using these and using this as the first step to reducing some of this body toxicity.
Well, a lot of people are out there researching nutrition and, buying things that sound like them. And of course, people are deficient in things, and, I encourage that. But the best multi I've ever seen is to take an AbsorbAid, or a high-quality digestive enzyme like AbsorbAid, because what that will do is get the most nutrition that you can from each one of these meals. So, I keep a bowl of it out on my counter, and every time I eat, I just grab a couple and, and eat it. That will aid in whatever I've just eaten as a meal, or even as a snack. It will help to break it down. It has different enzymes in it that help to break down the proteins that we eat, that we consume, the fats that are in our food, the carbohydrates that are in our food, the vegetables that we're eating, and including the dairy products that, I don't recommend a lot of dairy products for people, but inevitably we eat them. It even has an enzyme in there that breaks that down, because we don't make the proper enzyme to break down dairy. Cows do, but humans don't. So you can even take it on an empty stomach, let's say before you go to bed, and it helps to handle with inflammation. So if you have joint pains and you're puffy and you're not feeling so great, you can take a few AbsorbAids, and it helps to handle the toxicity, and it breaks down inflammation and poisons and toxins and even viruses in the body. So it's sort of the no-brainer. You can't go wrong. It's a vegan formula, and so you can give it to your kids, you can give it to elderly. Lots of my patients give it to their dogs, because they're buying expensive dog food and they want their dogs to have the most nutrition, so they're giving them enzymes as well to help break down the dog food and get most of the nutrients that they can from each one of the meals.
We have got Dr. Julie Gatza with us today. She joins us here on BGE. So, where can people get their hands on this and get involved with what you're doing and everything, Dr. Julie?
They can go to Nature's Sources, which is a website. It's naturesources.com, or they can call the 1-800 number, and if they use the code RADIO, they can ask for some free samples, which the company is super generous about, or they can get 20% off their first order. And that 1-800 number is 1-800-827-7656.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Julie, you have been amazing. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for coming on and chatting with us. Really enjoyed the conversation, and we will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful day, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to hear you.
Appreciate it. There she goes. That is Dr. Julie Gatza.